guys, welcome to math today. This is kind of an exciting day for me because I get to teach you something new. So at some point today, please practice your counting. Try to get up to 40 or 50. Let's see how high we can get, making sure that we do the numbers the right way, okay? So today I'm going to teach you something about a clock. This is a big clock, and in the classroom sometimes we talk about time. Let me get it to the right spot. Okay, so can you think of a clock in your house? Do you have any clocks that look like this somewhere in your house? Clocks are important because they tell us what time it is and they help us to understand what part of the day we're at. So when we learned about clocks, we're going to be talking about two parts of the clock. Well, first of all, there's the numbers, right? All we have to pay attention to on our clock when we're learning right now is the numbers. So there's two different, they call these hands, okay? Do they look like do they have fingers and hands and like this? No, but they still call it a hand. There's the long hand, that's the tall, big, long one, and there's the short hand, that's the small, short one, okay? So blue is tall, blue is the long hand, red is the short hand. When we tell time, we always pay attention to where the long hand is. So the long hand, the blue one, for us right now is always going to be on the 12, okay? And when you see the long hand on the 12, then you go and look at the short hand to see what number it's on. And do you see how it's on the 1 right here? So this tells us that it is 1 o'clock. And the thing about this is that we're gonna make it super easy, okay? So whenever you see it on the 12, you're gonna say o'clock, okay? So right now it's 1, because you're pointing to the short hand, the red hand. The long hand is pointing to the 12, so that's just gonna be o'clock. So it's 1 o'clock. If I change this so that the short hand is pointing to the 7 and the long hand is pointing up to the 12, it's 7 o'clock. So we're just paying attention. If this is at the 12, we're just paying attention to where the red hand is, and that tells us what time it is. The long hand is at the 12, the short hand is at the 10, so it's 10 o'clock. Now when we write 10 o'clock, we first write the number 10. Oops, I better use a marker. It's a little darker. 10. And then another thing that helps us to see time is there's two different little parts to the time. So the 10 is the hour, and then you do 2 little dots, and then you do 2 zeros. That says 10 o'clock. Okay, we're gonna practice this a lot, so just follow along with me, okay? So on your paper, you're gonna write your name. And right here, on the top clock right here, there's a little line that's dotted. We need to trace that, okay? So trace that little line. What number is it pointing at? 3. So we're gonna write 3. And then look, it's pointing up at the 12. That means o'clock. 3, and then you do 2 zeros. That says 3 o'clock, okay? We're gonna do the same with the next one. Trace the little hand, the short hand. It's pointing to the number 7, so we're gonna do a 7. And then of course this is pointing up, so just 2 zeros, 7 o'clock. This clock says 3 o'clock, this clock says 7 o'clock. Okay, go to the bottom row, trace the small hand, the short hand. It's pointing at the 1, so you're gonna write a 1. The long hand's pointing at the 12, so 2 zeros, 1 o'clock. Last one, trace the short hand, which is pointing to the number 6. And then we've got the long hand pointing at the 12, so 2 zeros, 6 o'clock. All right, I know this is kind of a lot, something new. We'll practice it a lot. I'll have my clock with me a lot when we practice. So just the important thing to remember today is that if it's pointing to the short hand, that's the hour, okay? So this is 10 o'clock. This is 6 o'clock. This is 3 o'clock, okay? Turn your paper over to the other side where you'll see a great big number 8. Grab a crayon. I'm gonna choose blue, and we're going to make the number 8. So remember, when I do the 8, we do an S. So it goes like this. Follow the arrow, okay? Make an S and go back home. Make an S and go back home. Make an S and go back home. That's how we write the number 8. Then with your pencil, you're gonna do the 8s over here. Make an S and go back home. Make an S and go back home. Make an S and go back home. That's how we write the number 8. Okay? All right, that's it for today. Nice job sticking with me and doing our new math time telling on our clocks. Nice job.